天使創造リブート
Several days later, Vega was sent home as planned, and our lives have more or less returned to normal. Once Kurumi's problems are solved, we'll be able to fully enjoy what little remains of our summer break. Fortunately, she seems to have already found the way forward, but she's not panicking about it, as is typical for her. In fact, she claimed that working out our summer schedule was more important than solving her problems, and with that in mind, I've come over to her place to decide what day we'll be going to the beach.
思ったより遅くなっちゃったな。
Won't the jellyfish be out soon?
増え始める頃じゃないかな。お盆過ぎたら海入っちゃダメとか言うよね。
Yeah, so we probably want to go sooner rather than later. It turns out that both she and I have fairly open schedules. However, while the issue with Vega has been resolved, Kagi and Noah warned us to stay vigilant for the time being. At the very least, for the next week. So no matter what, the earliest we'll be able to go to the beach is late August. It will be screwed if we go all that way, only to get attacked. Yeah, all that way, only to get attacked. So as unfortunate as it is, it's a necessary measure.
とりあえず自由行動のお許しが出たら最速で行こっか。
Sounds good to me.
じゃあ海に行く日は決定と。
Kurumi claps her diary closed.
さて続きまして。
There's more?
ちょっと実験に付き合ってもらっていいです？
Sure. What is it?
ずっと前にですね、変身した状態で勃起できるか実験をしたじゃないですか。
Where are you going with this? Oh, okay. This is some new way of trying to initiate.
いや、違くて。
Sorry, I shouldn't have assumed things.
最終的にそうなるんだけど。
Is that a yes or a no? What? Kurumi? Don't tell me you want him to transform into Diablo so that you could do it in, how would I say? So you can both do it in your other forms.
ちょっとね、確認したいことがあって。
Right.
今日は変身した状態でどうかなと。
Both of us?
りっくんが嫌じゃなきゃ。
I mean, you know, she did show off her panties in slave form, so what's having sex in slave form? Sure. I don't feel like I have any reason to be against it, but perhaps that's the problem. Kurumi considers herself and Slay to be two very distinct people. The whole reason she transformed during our erection experiment is because she didn't want me to see her underwear. But now she's asking for us to both transform into different people and have sex. I mean, I'm glad he caught on to what she was putting down. He picked up on what she was putting down, but all to confirm something, whatever it is. Are you sure about this, Kurumi?
ちょっちね。抵抗はある、正直。
Yeah. So why bring it up?
私がずっと嫌だなって思ってるのは、私がスレイに染まるというか、別人になることじゃん？
Yeah.
実際、変身すると利き手変わるし、角も生えるし、体的には別人になっちゃった感覚はあるんだよね。でもさ、それはりっくんも同じじゃん？完全に別人じゃん？
Yep. Into the big bad Diablo.
でも、こ 心はりっくんのままなわけじゃん。
Yeah, but unlike Slay, Riku and Diablo use the same dominant hand. Yeah, Tanikaze Riku is who I am, no matter what it looks like. Except when they had that one time where Diablo kind of took over because he was too horny, and Slay had to suppress his mana, and that's kind of what led to Vega coming over to this world to try to suppress Diablo. So,
そう、私もその自信が欲しい。考えたんだよね。なぜスレイが魔王と同じ時代に転生したのか。スレイは魔王を愛していた。普通に考えれば今度こそ結ばれたかっただよね。
That's the first reason that comes to mind. It makes sense to me.
だよね。まあ、あまねちゃんも転生しているのはひとまず置いておいて。
Yeah, don't worry about that, Kurumi. Except for the fact that, Amane was the second girl we went down the route of. So,
仮に魔王を追いかけて転生したのなら、思いを遂げた時どうなるのか。未練がなくなったスレイの思いは消えるのか。
Sort of. She's not wrong, technically. Viz kind of did disappear from Amane, right? But that was kind of only to prevent Clavi from going over to their world. It's been a while since we've played through Amane's route, so obviously I'm not going to remember everything that happened at the end, but the main thing is that Amane and Viz kind of separate at the end. So Kurumi's technically not wrong, because her regrets were gone when she separated, but that isn't really the main reason why they separated.
それとも逆に思いが高ぶってスレイとして覚醒するのか。
And you want to have sex to find out?
ぶっちゃけ結果は分かってるんだけどね。
It's a kink thing. That's what that's the main that's the whole reason you're doing this.
でも少しでも引っかかっちゃうとずーっとそれが気になっちゃうたちでさ。
She wants to know what those horns can do.
私は私でいられるのか。
As in her horns. Never mind.
確かめてみたいんだよね。これからも小ひばりくるみとして生きていくために。
Okay then.
すんなり少しでもリスクがあるならダメだって言われるかと思ってた。
Well, yeah. It's scary to think about you not being yourself anymore. But if that happens, that it happened, I'd stop at nothing to bring you back. You've stuck with me through a lot, the good times and the bad. So now it's my time to stick with you through all the things you need to get done.
ありがとう。嬉しい。
Whatever excuse the writers need to come up with to have them fuck in their other forms. She smiles happily before suddenly turning serious.
でさ、実はもう一個だけあるんですよ。理由。
Okay.
ちょっとドン引きされるかもだけど。
Okay, now you're scaring me.
私ね、伏線って回収しなきゃいけないと思うんだ。
I told you it was a fucking kink thing. Where's this coming from?
りっくんはどう？漫画とか映画とかの未回収の伏線。気になる？気にならない？
Kurumi, here's the problem with foreshadowing. Alright? Usually the payoff happens a lot sooner than this sort of foreshadowing. Right? In the way that Kurumi brought this up way fucking earlier into the game, right? Even if I did Kurumi's route first, this span of time between when she brought up the horns thing, when she transformed into Slay in the school, and now, the gap's too big, right? Usually the payoff would be 2 acts later, right? 3 acts later. Not fucking this far apart. It depends on what it is, but if it's presented as a mystery, it tends to bother me, yeah. Unless she's talking about something completely different. But, you know.
なるほど。りっくんも気になると。
Yeah, well, depending on what it is.
ならば、回収しなければなりません。
What does?
イラマチを。
I fucking told you it was a kink thing.
めっちゃスーって息吸ってますけど。
You know, I'm not so sure that needs to pay off.
いや、聞いて。
Okay.
トラウマになってんの。そこそこ。
You mean how freaked out you got?
取り乱すのは仕方ない。でも、重めの下ネタを口にしたのは意味がわからない。
Yeah, joke. That's why you brought it up. Oh, right. It was pretty random, yeah.
でさ、りっくん、ちょいちょい思ってたでしょ？こいつ、急にイラマチオとか言いやがったんだよな。と。
Well, you know, considering it was one of the first things you brought up when you transformed into Slay.
ねえ。なあ。
I did.
ほらー
Okay, yeah, but who cares? Why was that traumatic?
超ド級の失態ですよ、あれ
Yeah, you exposed how much of a freak you were. I mean, you tend to blurt out all sorts of inappropriate things. I'm not sure why that particular one should be... It's because it was the first one. It was the first time she blurted out something degenerate. Now you're the one sucking on your teeth.
とにかく
Yes?
トラウマを笑えるいい思い出に消化したいの
So, tell me. When you said you wanted to transform and have sex, was this why? Was this your real reason? You made things sound all serious, well, with how you might change into someone else, but...
何か問題でも
Why are you being all defensive with me now?
もう一つぶっちゃけると
I have a problem with it because you're a liar. If you're honest with Riku and said you only wanted to transform to have... You only wanted to have transmigration sex so you could get face fucked while having your horns grabbed onto, there wouldn't have been a problem. But you were fucking trying to skirt around the real reason by talking about how you might become a different person. There's more?
好奇心もありにけり
Now that's the most Kurumi reason you could have given.
納得されるのも複雑だけど結局さ一生付き合っていかなくちゃいけないわけだしなんていうかこう避け続けるのも違うかなって
What do you mean issue?
だからあえて私たちのこう大事な時間変身して過ごすことで避けたいことじゃなくなるかなって
My main problem is that she's calling it an issue. Right? Like...
なんかよくわかんなくなってきた。伝わって
I think so.
どうすかりっくん的には。
I already told you I'd stick with it. I'll stick with you. Reaching out to my inner flames, I transform. And I don't want to go back on my word.
ありがとう。よし。じゃあ、私も。
She shuts her eyes for a moment and instantly transforms.
よし。
Yeah?
いざってなると、ちょっと、緊張するね。
You really don't look at all that different, you know? Just like you're in cosplay or something.
りっくんの魔王モードはちょっちね。威圧感、あるよね。
I mean, his transformation's a lot more drastic than yours. I definitely don't look human.
目真っ黒だしね。オッドアイだし。
We can change back if you want to.
無理ではないです。りっくんはりっくんなので。そこを否定しちゃったら私のアイデンティティ。
Now here's the thing. I understand Kurumi's Kurumi wanted to do this because she wants to get face fucked while Riku holds onto her horns, right? But now that that's exposed, right? Now that her real reason's been exposed, why does Riku still need to transform into Diablo? Right? Is it a comfort thing, right? Like it would be more embarrassing if Kurumi was the only one who transformed into Slay or something, even though Kurumi is more attracted to Riku appearance-wise.
Identity!
There you go.
めっちゃ噛んだ。私のクソが
Identity. Calm down. You're swearing now.
それが崩れるので
Yeah, okay. We'll stay like this then.
よし。出花くじかれちゃったけど。
It's okay.
やりますか
Sure.
イラマチオ。
We're seriously doing that?
マジですよ。大マジ。
Yeah, you better start quickly before she gets cold feet again. I'm not gonna get violent with you.
大丈夫です。オラオラってされたら、私も泣くかもしれないので。
Yeah, but you'd get used to it. So, I need to grab hold of your horns.
そうそう。
Okay, let's see how this works first.
よし。
Kurumi kneels down and I stand in front of her. Now I'm getting nervous too. I doubt her horns are fragile enough to break under my grip, but as I take hold of them, I do so as gently as possible.
いやー、燃え上がったね。
So, like, are they sensitive, like most horns or ears are on various visual novel characters? Kurumi smiles in satisfaction, covering up the slight embarrassment showing on her face. We've changed back to normal, taken off all our clothes, wiped ourselves down, and now we're lying in bed, taking it all in. This blissful moment of peace.
私の力が最も役立った瞬間でしたね。
You're telling me you've decided your magical telepathy powers are best used for sex?
だって実際そうだし。
Did she use her telepathy powers to share the pleasure she was having while getting face fucked? Or, well, I mean, yeah, no, she used the telepathy to talk to Riku while her mouth was stuffed with his peanuts, but, you know, there is that whole other cliche of sharing senses. They were pretty useful when we were searching for Vega.
でも一番活用できたのは今じゃない
Oh,
認めてしまった。
she laughs happily, her eyes narrowing when she does so.
スレイは戦争の時に使ってたみたいだけどね。軍の指揮を取るために。でも私は戦争なんてしないし。これでいいんだ。私の力の使い方。
I'm sure Slay would have used the powers the same way with Diablo if her feelings weren't unrequited. Didn't go unrequited. Yeah.
エッチで気持ちよくなる魔法。
It's kind of like a modern take on traditional methods.
ね。ただ、たまににした方がいいね。あれは。
Yeah, it would make normal sex boring or something. Agreed. We probably don't want to experience the side effects of telepathy abuse. And that.
ねえ、脳みそパンクしそう。
I was wondering, how did it go? Your experiment.
はあ、予想通り、私は私だね。それに、りっくんはりっくん。
Yeah, she's still Kurumi, except without the body, or face, or anything else.
やっと、気持ちの整理、ついたかな。
She's now just eyes, mouth, eyebrows, a little bit of hair, and her voice. Great. Now we just have to do something about your headaches and we're all good.
だね。
Well, she can't have any headaches if she doesn't have a brain, so...
ね、りっくん。
Yeah?
海行った時にね、大事な話をします。
Oh, really?
もう、バレバレだと思うけど。
Why? I haven't the foggiest idea what you could be talking about.
棒読み。演技下手すぎ。
I knew it would be said in a sarcastic way. I didn't really say it that way at all, but... I've got something important to tell you too. I smile and stroke her hair. It must tickle as she squirms a little. And then she stifles a yawn.
やば。眠い。頑張りすぎた。
Want to take a nap?
どうしよう。お母さんまだ帰ってこないと思うけど。
Yeah, it would be awkward if she caught us like this.
気まずすぎる。でも、
Want to stay like this for a few minutes?
もう少しだけね。
She squeezes down on my arm. The two of us rest together, occasionally saying bits and pieces as we enjoy this blissful moment. One that I wish would last forever. But I know that there'll be more for them, more of them, no matter what lies in store for us. As long as the two of us are together, we'll find our moments of blissful peace.
天使創造リブート。
Really? That's interesting.
魔王、戦は終わったよ。
This is going on for a lot longer than I expected. And I was sure that was the end of the route. Right? Or I guess, yeah, no. The end of the route going into the epilogue. But there's still more.
落ち着くのはまだまだ先だろうが、信頼できる者に後を託した。国が荒れることはないだろう。お前の願い通り工作はしたが、ほんの少しだけだ。争いを続ける余力は民にも国にも残っていない。人と魔が手を取り合う世界がいずれ来るだろう。残された者たちが
叶えてくれるだろう。
It took a while, but they were able to achieve the peace that she's talking about.
私もその一人になれたらよかったのだが、すまないな。魔王、関心がない。お前のいない世がどうなろうと、何一つ興味がない。怒るだろうな、お前が聞いたら。だがもういいだろう。お前の頼みはすべて果たした。あとは私の自由だ。もう疲れた。今そっちへ行くよ。
Damn. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to not figure out that she was, you know, that she. How do I say this? I doubted. I doubt Slay died of old age. Right. That was kind of my initial thoughts as to what happened with Slay. So there were kind of only two ways she would have died, which is in a fight or killing herself, right? So this isn't that surprising.
夢？
This, I imagine, will be our final date over summer break. We promised so long ago that we'd go to the beach together, and that day has finally arrived. I was, how do I say? I thought this date would happen in the epilogue, right?
この時期来たことなかったんだけど、ここまで人減るもんなんだね。
Yeah, there's even less people than when we came in July. It's almost deserted. There are some people here, of course, but I don't see any families on outings here around. Now that I think about it, most people will have gone back to work already, so it does make sense that it's so vacant.
クラゲ、どれくらいいるんだろう。
It can't be that many. There are people swimming out there. None have been washed up onto the beach, and I don't see any in the shallow areas either.
てか、泳いだりしないし、別にいっか。クラゲいてもいなくても。
We're not gonna swim?
泳ぐ？りっくんあんまり得意じゃないんだよね。
Oh, I did tell her that, come to think of it. You remembered?
記憶力はそこそこいいので、たまにど忘れするけど。
Don't worry about me. Go and swim if you want to.
二人で来てるのに一人で泳いでどうすんの？
Fair point.
泳ぐだけが海じゃないんですよ。眺めるもよし、散策するもよし。
Yeah, but why would you do that in your swimsuits? A romantic walk along a sandy beach. Yeah, there aren't many people around, so that could
埋めるもよし。
work. Sorry, what? Come again?
りっくん、
Uh-oh. Yeah?
埋まろうか。
Is that a threat? What exactly is she saying here? Could you, explain what that means?
いりますか？説明。
I mean, no, but like, you know, it would be helpful.
はぁ、初心者だね、りっくん。海水浴初心者だよ、りっくんは。
Did you really have to say it twice?
海来たら大体やるでしょ？砂浜に人を埋める。
Let's just say I've been to the beach with my friends many a time and we've never buried each other. We've never buried each other. Would you not, like, die?
何言ってんの？頭は出しますよ。体だけですよ。
You don't... Oh. It's like a sand bath.
そういうの。
Sorry, it took me a moment there. That's definitely a beach staple.
やったことある？
Nope. In my family, we've got the brother who can't swim and the sister who plays video games at the beach.
陰を極めている。
Honestly, I don't really know how that you're supposed to have fun at the beach.
よし、じゃあ砂浜に埋まって童貞捨てよう。
Excuse me? Right. The only reason she's able to say it so loudly is because there aren't many people around.
あれ？あんまり乗り気じゃない？
You know, I don't really like the prospect of being buried in the sand and not being able to get out. You know, that's kind of how it goes with this, and with the getting buried in the sand cliche. Yeah, I get that there aren't many people here, but you just shouted "time to lose your virginity" at the top of your lungs.
やるよ、りくん。
Right. Overwhelmed by her intensity, I respond in a similarly energized manner. So, what do I have to do?
一回寝転んでもらって。
Sure. I lie down where I am. Surprisingly, the feeling of the sand doesn't bother me, though I know it'll be a nightmare to wash off later.
こっからここまでかな。浅めに掘ります。
That's what I'm gonna lie down eventually.
そうそう。
I get back up and help with digging the hole I'll eventually be buried in. I don't even remember the last time I played in the sand. Just digging in it is pretty fun though.
じゃあ埋めるのやめて山とか作ったりする？
Nah, I kinda want to be buried now.
よかった、楽しんでくれてて。ちょっと心配してたんだよね。
Worried about what?
海行きたいって言ったの私だし、いやいや付き合わせてたら悪いなって。
If I didn't want to come, I would have said so. We're past all that stuff by now, surely.
そうだね。
How big's this hole gotta be anyway? Deeper?
こんくらいでいいと思う。寝ちゃって。
Okay. I lie down in the hole we just dug. Kurumi starts piling sand on top of me.
よし。
I'm now buried in the sand. So, what now?
第一段階、完成です。
What comes next?
ここから私の芸術性がね、問われるわけですよ。
And, like, what does that mean?
ちょっと待ってて。
Wait, Kurumi? She wanders off somewhere, leaving me buried in the sand. Is this some kind of torture? Yes. I'm sure nobody's watching, but this doesn't make it any less embarrassing. I could move if I wanted to, but she told me to wait.
お待たせ。
Relief washes over me. She's brought something with her, though I can't quite turn my head enough to work out what.
よっしゃ。
With that motivated cry, she plunges her hands toward the pile of sand on top of me. I may be dense, but even I know what she's doing. Is this the part where you sculpt a body for me?
そうそう。サラサラの砂だとすぐ崩れちゃうから、水分たっぷりの持ってきた。しばらく動かないでね。
Sure. I do as I'm told and make sure not to move a muscle. The sand on me is feeling weightier now, thanks to all that additional water. This is actually pretty tough, both not being able to move and how hot it's getting under all the sand. How long is this gonna take?
わかんない。
Oh,
飲み物欲しくなったら言ってね。飲ませてあげる。
oh, thanks.
と。
She sets about her work in earnest. I'm sure whatever it ends up being, it will be nothing short of a masterpiece. Thing is, I'm really suffering under here. It's so hot and the sand is so heavy. It would be one thing if there was a conversation going to distract me.
違うな。
But Kurumi is so focused on her work that she's barely talking. The sun is really beating down on me. Fucking hell, this is torture. I'm such an idiot. Why'd I have to say I was interested in this? We could have just had fun building mountains of sand together. But it's too late for any of that. I simply have to enjoy this hell until Kurumi's masterpiece is finished. It's agonizing.
おっしゃできたじゃーん
She looks as smug as anything. Now that I can see the result. Not that I can see the result.
いや、力作だわ。完璧な仕上がり。どうりっくん。
I can't see it.
大丈夫、安心して。超ナイスバディ
Oh, what now? Where'd you get the seashells from? Don't just laugh at me.
傑作グラビアアイドル並みのスタイル
Oh, what? She turned me into a woman. I thought I was gonna end up all ripped and toned like a bodybuilder. Oh, wait, those people walking by just now laughed at me. I heard them stifling their giggles. Kurumi just went and made me the laughing stock of the world. What's more, I don't even care about the embarrassment. I just want to see for myself. Kurumi, take a pic. I want to see.
まさかの妖精待って待ってはいりっくん笑って笑ってあ、違う決め顔して決め顔
I don't think you should do either. How's this?
やば最高いいよりっくんいいよ
Kurumi, show me. I want to see.
マジりっくんの顔決め顔ウケる
Is this his Riz face? I've never heard you laugh this hard before. Is it really that funny?
これみんなにもお裾分けしないと
Wait, what?
あまねちゃんに送ろっと
Oh no, not Amane. Amane? No, wait, don't.
待ちませんもう送りました
Oh, come on. At least let me look at it first.
お母さんにも送っておきますだって
Oh, even more embarrassing. No, wait, she what? No, I'm gonna be the laughing stock of the next family reunion.
いやウケ
I didn't even say anything funny that time.
るチカと楓にも送っちゃおう
Wait, my reputation can't take any more damage. What's so funny? Kurumi? Kurumi?
ごめんごめんはしゃぎすぎちゃった
I've finally been freed from my sandy prison.
我ながらあまりに出来が良くてね。みんなに見せずにはいられなかったよ。
Yeah, it was something alright.
認めてもらえた。
At this point, I don't even know how far that picture of me has spread. I'm just going to think of this as one more summer memory. As long as Kurumi's enjoying herself, that's fine by me.
次どうする？砂遊びする？
I could do with resting in the shade. Being buried is surprisingly draining, considering you're just laying there.
シャワー浴びとく？体中砂だらけ。
As in, like, shower sex? What? I mean, oh, yeah, I could do that.
ちょっと歩くけど、綺麗なシャワールームあるよ。そっちの方が空いてそう。
Let's head over then. Yeah, let's shower together. We leave the beach for the time being to head toward the shower room. I assume it was built recently. It's just as nice as Kurumi led me to believe. It's clean inside too, and I really appreciate the single cubicles. Even better, no one appears to be using it right now. I picked out a cubicle, the one at the back for no apparent reason, and head inside when... Huh? The sun's setting and it's time for dinner, so we leave the beach to look for a restaurant. Even fewer people are at the beach now, leaving it nice and peaceful as the waves lap against the shore.
そこそこお疲れなんだけど、微妙にまだお腹空いてないな。
Same, for some reason, but we've got time to wait until we are.
楓と地下といったお店美味しかったんだよね。イタリアンのお店。ピザが超美味しかった。
Sounds good to me. I do normally have pizza when it's takeout night.
石窯で焼いた本格的なやつ。ガチで美味しかった。
You make it sound better by the minute. Yeah, let's go there. Where is it?
すぐそこ。超近い。
We'll get there before we're hungry then.
いい感じに減るまで話そうぜ。
Oh, sure. Kurumi sits herself down and I sit beside her.
めっちゃ景色良くない？
The sun setting over the ocean is really pretty.
ロケーションにこだわりたかったんだよね。今回は。前は人がいっぱいのモールのベンチとか最悪だったし。で、私こういうことペラペラ話しちゃうからムードなくなるのか。
You'd end up killing it anyway with when you start blushing and complaining about how totally embarrassed you are.
さすがりっくん。私のことよくわかってる。
She laughs happily her eyes narrowing as she looks out at the horizon.
今日さ、夢見たんだよね。
About what?
スレイの夢。多分、最後の瞬間だと思う。
Oh.
自警団作った後、姿を消したって言ってたじゃん。
Yeah, and no one knew what happened to her next.
自殺してたみたい。
She did?
うん。魔王を追いかけて。魔王のいない世界になんて興味はないから、そっちに行くねって。喉はナイフで草。
I suppose that's just how much she loved him.
かなぁ。ずーっとスレイのこと、わからんって思ってたけど。
You know, something, distance makes the heart grow fonder, something, she probably started liking him a lot. She was already in love with Diablo after he died, and I'm sure she liked him even more after he died.
今回だけは共感しちゃったかも。ちょっとだけ。まあ 自殺の感触とかも伝わってきたから、起きた時気分最悪だったけど。
Kurumi grimaces before smiling again. Well, she says that, but it didn't come across that way when she woke up. Any headaches?
なかった。実は夢で見たのも久しぶりなんだよね。記憶が急に蘇ることも最近はないし。
No headaches, but her neck is feeling a bit sore.
やっぱり、あれは、ある種の拒絶反応だったのかも。なんていうのかな。嫌だ、見たくないって逆に意識しちゃって、記憶が蘇っちゃってた、みたいな。気持ちの整理がついて、スレイのことを受け入れられるようになったら、落ち着いてる。今のところ。
I'm glad to hear that. Truly.
りっくんのおかげ。
I don't know about that. I didn't do anything really.
結構ね。響いたんだよね。りっくんの言葉。俺はアリオンじゃない。谷風りくだ。魔王と同じ選択はしない。はっとしたんだ。すごく。当たり前のことに気づかされたっていうか。話とっちらかっちゃうけど、ベガちゃんってさ、英才教育のせいであんな価値観になったわけじゃん？
Yeah. Her father forced her into being a watchdog of Twilight before she could even think for herself.
ゴリゴリにガチガチの価値観を植え付けられて、友達と遊ぶこともせず、甘いものも食べたことがなかった。
Well, she can't hang out with friends if she didn't have any to begin with. So, you know.
でも、本当は素直な子なんだよね。根っこは決して悪い子じゃなかった。別れ際にね、どうするかは自分で選んでいいんだよって、そう言ったんだけど、それって、私に言えることなんだよね。いつか私で亡くなっちゃうかもしれないって、怯えてた。でも、そうじゃないって気づいた。
Yeah, but were you thinking that before you started transforming into Slay, or was it only after that you started thinking that?
私は確かに、スレイの生まれ変わりではあるけれど、スレイの魂や記憶から、どう影響を受けるのか、受けないのかは、私が決められるんだって。前世とか関係なく、今まで歩んできたのは小ひばりくるみの人生だし、これから歩んでいくのも、小ひばりくるみが選んだ道だって。にっくんの言葉と、ベガちゃんとの出会いで、やっと気づけたんだよね。もうほんと、すっごい当たり前のことにどれだけ時間かけてんだって話だよね。
Your mind works fast, Kurumi. So maybe you made it difficult for yourself by overthinking it.
どうなんだろう。頭の回転が速いって思ったことないけど。
Kinoshita and Shiraishi said you are.
どんな風に？
What was it again? Something about how your mind works crazy fast. So sometimes it seems like you're skipping a bunch of steps and skipping straight to the conclusion.
言われたことない。
I only realized at the very end of that sentence that the second sentence wasn't in the form of a question. They also said that made it hard to keep up with you.
それ言われたことあるかも。
You do have a tendency to say the wildest things, like face fucking with demon horns.
はい、すみません。
But now, I know you're not actually skipping anything. You think things through just as much as the next person. She just doesn't articulate it.
そうなんです。考えてはいるんです。前の時は完全にいきなりだったからさ。今回はしっかり筋道を立てて話そうと思ったわけで。むしろ回りくどい？さっさと結論言っちゃった方がいい？
It's cool. We've got time, so don't rush. She giggles and continues.
自分じゃない何かになるって不安がなくなったら、記憶のフラッシュバックも頭痛もなくなった。で、自分の気持ちに自信を持てるようになった。
She says this firmly while staring into my eyes.
みっくんは、もう、気持ちを伝えてくれていたのに、たくさん待たせちゃって。ごめんね。
I was planning to say it again at some point, since I kind of directed it all at Vega last time.
それでも、嬉しかった。愛する人と添い遂げたいって、最高の告白だった。みっくんが気になったきっかけは、前世の記憶で、それは間違いないんだけど。でもこの気持ちは、前世とは関係ない。私は、りっくんが好き。誰にでも親切にできて、それが当たり前って思ってるところが好き。命を懸けて私を守ってくれる、かっこいいところも好き。暴力に頼らず、命を狙ってくる相手にも言葉を尽くすような、穏やかなところが好き。
Well, to be fair, she was just a kid, so, like, you know, I'm sure he would have been less lenient if it was Clavi. I'm just saying.
私が変なことしても、仕方ないなって顔して付き合ってくれるところが好き。これは、私の気持ち。私が感じた、私だけの気持ち。だから、前みたいに逃げたりせず、ちゃんと、言います。今度は、お試しなんかじゃなくて。
She trails off. Her eyes flicker with uncertainty. She just can't get the following words out. The manly thing to do might be to offer to say it for her, but that feels wrong to me. And like I would be stealing her moment. She thought this through, and is now doing her best to tell me how she feels. So the only thing I should do right now is listen to her. Is listen to her.
にっくん。
Yeah?
あなたのことが、好きです。だから、私の、私の、彼氏に、なってくれませんか？
Of course. Why, huh?
ごめん、オッケーしてくれるとは思ってたけど、食い気味に来たからびっくりしちゃった。
Did you want me to wait a few seconds?
完全にギャグシーンの間合いだった。
I don't think you and I will ever just be able to have a moment.
フードね。吹っ飛ばすよね。だいたい。
But hey, that's just who we are, right?
かも。
I mean, you know, I thought they made it official after the first H scene. So, you know.
でも、ほっとした。やっぱドキドキするよ。告白って。
Oh, I still haven't said my part yet.
え？何？怖い。やっぱセフレデとか言われる？
I love you too, Kurumi.
そっか。言ってないこと、それか。
Yeah, I'm just gonna ignore what you just said. I told you I was going to say it again.
ごめん。今、めっちゃ照れてる。
It's as nerve-wracking hearing it as it is saying it.
ね。
We both laugh and stare out at the setting sun. Kurumi? Our trial period is over. We're in a real relationship now. Well, still no credits again, which is it's weird that they don't have credits for every character. But I guess if they're paying tribute to xpnd.dev, that would kind of be the best place to put it, right at the end of every round. It's the final day of our summer break, making this the last day before we go back to school. You know, it's hard for me to say this. Oh, well, how do I say it? It's hard for me to explain, but I didn't really have much to say about Kurumi's route during it. Right, I had a lot to say about Kaguya's route, Amane's route, Noah's route. I mean, I brought up stuff in Kurumi's route that was weird and good and I liked. Right? But it was... How do I explain it? It's like... It was fine. Right? In terms of characterization for Kurumi, I'm just gonna say it. She's still in first place. Alright? I'll elaborate more on that at the end, right? When we go through the final rankings, right? But spoiler alert, Kurumi's gonna still be in first. So characterization wise, this route did her justice, right? It made me fall in love with her even more than I already was. This kind of route would have made a last place character on my list, on my rankings, a top contender, right? Even potentially first place, right? But in terms of the actual route, it was fine, right? And you know, obviously for a character like Kurumi, her trials and tribulations, right, the conflicts that she needs to go through are going to be pretty fucking different from Amane's, right? When it came to Amane's route, it was all about how she was having trouble with Viz, right? Having trouble trying to, you know, not transform into Viz, and, you know, trying to figure out the reason why she kept transforming into Viz and all of that. It was all about her relationship with Viz and also the relationship with Riku and kind of the whole reason why and kind of the whole reason why, you know, they kept fucking how do I say, you know, the solution that Amane came up with to prevent her from constantly having to transform into Viz was through dating Riku, right? That was the solution to that, sort of. It's been a while, right? But with Kurumi, you don't really get that, and I appreciate that they don't go down the same route, pun intended. They don't have the same story beats as Amane's route, right? They go down a completely different route, where instead of Kurumi having trouble with transforming into Slay, she was more contending with her emotions for Riku and Slay's emotions for Diablo. And the game does a pretty good job at convincing the player that out of all of the characters, right? I guess I can't really say out of all of the characters, because there are only 3 characters we know are the reincarnations of a different character other than Diablo, which is with Fumika, Amane, and Kurumi. Fumika and Kurumi kind of go through a similar thing where they are conflicted over if they really like Riku or if their feelings are just being influenced by who they reincarnated from, right? And the way they go about it in Kurumi's route is definitely a much better executed way. It's executed a lot better in Kurumi's route than it was in Fumika's route, obviously, because this is a much longer route. They're able to do that much better. They're able to, she's able to overcome that obstacle a lot more smoothly, instead of kind of having a few moments in Fumika's route where she's very conflicted over her feelings for Riku, and then, it's solved fairly quickly. It's not a bad thing in Fumika's route, but it's executed a lot better in Kurumi's route. In terms of the Vega stuff, right, I do like that there is all of that extra lore parts, right? We learn a lot about Slay. We learn a lot about what she did after Diablo was killed. We learn much more about Slay than we do about Viz. So while I can't really say they wrote one character better over the other, because they focus on 2 different things for both characters, right? They focus on different things for the 2 characters because of the fact Amane is blood related to Riku. So, her feelings for Riku are a lot more conflicting. I keep using that word, but it works. It just works. With Slay, they tackle that pretty quickly, right? That isn't the central theme, I guess you could say, of Slay's conflict. That's mostly to do with figuring out what Slay's role is in their world, right? Because it's, one of the first things you find out about Slay in Kurumi's route is that, she really likes Diablo, and Kurumi is really annoyed that she has these feelings for Diablo, and she doesn't, she's actually very tsundere about it towards Diablo, and stuff like that, which led to their trial run, which I thought they finished after the first hate scene, but apparently they didn't, and they kept going at it until now. It was still a quote-unquote trial run until now. So, yeah. With that being said, if I were to put this, if I, in terms of ranking the routes, Kurumi's route would be above Kaguya's and below Amane's. Right? Unfortunately, with Kaguya's route, as much as I liked the rest of her route, the ending really soured it. And went from, you know, it went from her being potentially my favorite route to going to fourth, right, below Amane's route. And now with Kurumi's route, she's above Kaguya. So, you know, final ranking, even though I don't have the list, even though I don't have a list like I do with the character rankings, would be Orie's last, then Fumika's, then Kaguya's, then Kurumi's, then Amane's, then Noah's at first. And because of how much I liked Noah's route, it's very conflicting to me that she's stuck at second, and she's been stuck at second since the beginning. And it's very unfortunate, because as much as I prefer Noah's route over Kurumi's, like I said, this route did Kurumi's character justice. Right? Which is kind of the reason why I can't change the character rankings in terms of where I'm putting Noah and Kurumi. But anyway, let's get through this epilogue and we can finally finish Angelic Chaos. As it so happens, this is also our first date since ending our trial period. There are still 15 minutes to go until we agreed to meet up. I was so excited I ended up getting here earlier than I needed to. You don't need to put question marks over the characters. I know their voices. I know what Shiraishi and Kaede sound like, especially since we got a lot more of them in Kurumi's route.
いやいやいや。おいおいおい。
Huh?
無視すんなし。
Well, I didn't know who you were.
やすやす。
I thought I was being accosted by a weirdo, but it turns out to just be Kanoshita and Shiraishi. This has happened before, come to think of it. Sorry, I didn't notice you guys.
買い物?
No, I'm waiting for Kurumi.
聞いたよ。お試し期間終わったんしょ?
Yep, we both admitted how we felt about each other.
ふふん。その辺、詳しく聞かせてもらえる?
Don't call me pal. I don't know if I...
いやいやいや。いやいやいやいやいや。
What's with you two? Quit ganging up on me.
拉致るか。オッケー。オッケーじゃないっつーの。
They got caught They got caught. Kurumi suddenly appears in the path of the two oncoming girls. But my savior.
絡むな絡むな。これからデートなんだから。最近くるみ冷たい。うちらに連絡くれないし。嘘つけ。昨日もやりとりしてたでしょうが。はいはい。お邪魔虫は消えますよ。またメッセ送るわ。
I mean, I wouldn't mind if they went on the date, but that's only if it led to a foursome. Never mind.
おいおい。リック、行こう。
Bye. See you at school tomorrow.
わ、嫌なこと思い出させるじゃん。夏休みもう終わりとか。
Sorry.
いいからいいから、行くよ。
Right. Kurumi pulls me away from her friends by the arm.
最初は心配だったけど、うまくいってんじゃん。よかったわ。お試し中に破局とかしなくて。んなことされたらこっちまで気まずいって。ほんとそれ、谷風くんの席に近づけないわ。はっ、くるみが谷風くんの席にケツ乗せてたの。くるみなりのアプローチ？
I mean, it's definitely a unique way of flirting, but I don't think that was her intention. It ain't that deep, girls. She didn't like him before the route, unlike with Amane and just Amane. But
ないか。ないっしょ。
thank God.
ああ、うちも彼氏作ろうかな。それな。どっかにいい男落ちてないかな。とりあえず、ご飯行こっか。
What are you in the mood for?
決めておけばよかったね。全部ノープラン。
Yeah, we were scrambling to get one last date and over summer break.
私、行きたいところあるんです。
Very, how would I say? Very, very fitting that the last CG of the game has his face in it, right? And I mean, the thing is, the first CG of this game didn't have his face in it, right? Right? It was the first few CGs were with Noah, right? But he did have a CG with his face in it very early on, and he hasn't had many CGs with his face in it since. So even though it was one of the first CGs, it's still a rarity to have his face show up outside of SDCGs. Where's that?
ホテル。
For a fancy lunch buffet?
そういうホテルじゃなくて、ラブがつくホテル。
It never takes more than 2 minutes for you to take the conversation in this direction.
持て余してるんですよ。性欲を。
Is that really lucky for him?
授業始まったらなかなかできなくなるだろうし、いっぱいしておこうよ。ね？
Fine. We'll go to one of those hotels.
やったー！りっくん愛してるぜ！
But first, we're getting something to eat.
そうだった。ささっと食べちゃおう。ささっと。
Guess we'll just settle for the one place that's not busy.
そうしよう！
We start walking. My dick problems are all gone. Kurumi's not getting any more headaches. Our uncertain relationship is making steady progress too. Well, that business involving our past lives has died down for now, but we never know when it might cause more problems for us in the future. With that in mind, the biggest problems facing us are still as present as always. I doubt I'll ever get away from being the reincarnation of Diablo. But it doesn't bother me, it doesn't worry me anymore. Not as long as I have Kurumi by my side.
ファミレス空いてんじゃない？
Wanna head in?
よし、行こう行こう！
The two of us are walking this path side by side. Whatever obstacles appear in our way, we'll get through them together. And then continue on together. Through the peaceful days that lie ahead.
天使創造リブート。
Now that we have Kurumi's splash art, let me think.
which one would be my favorite? Because Kurumi's is pretty good. Alright. You know, you can't get more iconic, I guess, than the first splash art, right? The title screen, the original, the OG, the one that you see on all of the advertising material or whatever. With the side characters, they're pretty good, but I wouldn't say they're top tier. I mean, look, the obvious choice is fucking Amane's. Right, hers is something else. Alright, hers is it too obvious of a pick? Right, you know, Noah's is cute. Kaguya's is, what would you say, cool, I guess. Kurumi's is cute as well. My favorite splash art is between Kurumi and Amane's. And the only reason I'm not soloing in on Amane's is because it's too obvious of a pick. But with that being said, let's get into the rankings. Alright. Where do I place these girls? And, well, here's the funny thing. Mikuni's on the list. And if Mikuni's on the list, you know, we may as well put the other girls on it. Alright. Where would Shiraishi and Kaede go on the list? First one, at number 6. Alright, it's number 6. That's 5. Alright, move Orie and Mikuni down. Is Kaede. No, I liked her, but out of the two, I do like Shiraishi a lot more, especially especially that, you know, especially with that scene at the end with Vega. But where would I put her on the list? Honestly speaking, she's right here. I'm not gonna put Shiraishi's fucking last name. I'm just gonna use Chika. Then move everyone below. Back down. Even more. But, yeah, this is the final ranking. You know, the only difference between this ranking and the one that the one that I had before is that we have two new additions. Now here's the thing. I've only recently started using a top 100 as a way to compare, right? It's one thing to say Kurumi, Noah, Kaguya, Fumika, Chika, Amane, Kaede, Orie, Mikuni are, you know, 1 to 9, right? The top 10s. But putting them in a top 100 list, right, would show the true, how would I say, difference between like 4 and 5. Right? I'm not gonna say where I would put every character in a top 100. But for the top 3, Kaguya would be around the 10s, and by the 10s I mean 15 to 20. Right? Kurumi obviously is number 1. And Noah is around 5. Between 4th to 6th place. Right? Which is saying a lot. Because here's the thing. With Amaro Chocolate, 2nd place from second place in Kaguya is around where it's hard to explain. It's hard for me to say this because Kaguya in Angelic Chaos and Kaguya in Amaro Chocolate are around the same place in the top 100, but in Amaro Chocolate, Kaguya is 2nd. to Kaguya in Angelic Chaos's 3rd. And you know, Mikuri is first for Amaro Chocolate, obviously. But with that being said, thank you for watching. It's been... How long has it been since the first fucking episode? Alright, using episode 1 as a... You know, using when I posted the first episode of Amaro Chocolate on my main channel is a bad metric. Because, you know, that doesn't show the full picture. But thankfully, I had the foresight of adding when I streamed the when I streamed the VOD and when I what number of VOD it is. And the first stream I did of Angelic Chaos was the 15th of April last year. I have been playing this game for almost an entire fucking year. I have been playing this game for 11 months and 4 days. I mean, okay, there's a bit of a gap, but it's been around a whole year. And that I mean, look, that boils down to the fact that I don't stream every day, right? I don't stream the day. I don't stream every day that I have scheduled, right? Which is over the weekdays. If I did, and I was still playing Angelic Chaos, I would have finished around, what is it? This is the 51st VOD. Right? So I would have finished around, when would it be? $11 weeks. It would have taken me 11 weeks to finish this game if I streamed every weekday. right? I don't know why the math was so hard. It's fucking 5 times 10. And then, of course, this would be, you know, the 51st. So, technically the 11th week. But it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride. And technically, Ars Magna was longer. Right? But technically, I haven't finished Ars Magna. Right? And also, I didn't fucking I didn't post it on my main channel. I didn't post on the other, yeah, my main channel. But either way, we've had some ups and downs. But Angelic Chaos, what would my rating be? My total rating for Angelic Chaos, if Riddle Joker was, what was Riddle Joker? Riddle Joker was an 8 out of 10. I did not realize I rated it that high. But while Angelic Chaos didn't have the same highs as Riddle Joker, right? I adored Mayu's route and ISA's route, but it also didn't have the same dreadful pitfalls. How would I describe Hazuki's route in a way that, you know, how do I describe Hazuki's route in a way to express how much I despise it? Because of how devastated I was for Hazuki. Thankfully, you know, Angelic Chaos didn't have that same problem, right? Sure, Aurier's route was the weakest route, but it isn't anywhere close to Hazuki's route. But with that being said, if Riddle Joker was an 8, Angelic Chaos is around an 8. I was gonna say if Riddle Joker was around a 7, Angelic Chaos would be around the same, would be around an 8, but I put Riddle Joker at 8 because of Mayu and ISA's route specifically, mostly because of them. They kind of carried the rating. If ISA and Mayu's routes were on the same level as Noah's in Angelic Chaos, Riddle Joker would have been around a 7. Right, but because of how much I liked those routes, it was bumped up to an 8. Angelic Chaos, on the other hand, didn't have anything on the same level as ISA's or Mayu's, but didn't have anything on the same level as Hazuki's either. So it balances out. Alright, the average rating I would give to an Angelic Chaos route is around the same as I would give to the average rating I would give to the routes in Riddle Joker.
So yeah, it's an 8 out of 10. What a convoluted way for me to say it, but yeah. Is this outro has this outro dragged on for long enough? Would Riddle Joker technically be a little better than? Kind of? Not really. I don't think you understand how much I hate Hazuki's route. Right? If you exclude Hazuki's route, you can't exclude Hazuki's route, okay? At least with Orie, he's a side character. If Chisaki's route was as bad as Hazuki's route was, it wouldn't affect the rating as much. But because Hazuki is a main character, right, her route was so bad that the horribleness, probably can use a better word than that, of Hazuki's route lowers every other character's route rating. Angelic Chaos was more stable. It's kind of the same as it's kind of the One Piece thing, where the highs of One Piece are so high, right? The Wano arc, what is okay? Maybe not start off with a fucking arc from post time skip. Water 7, right? Water 7, Ennis Lobby. Those arcs were so fucking good that you can forgive Thriller Bark, right? I haven't watched One Piece. Well, I know you haven't watched One Piece. Most people probably haven't watched One Piece. But here's the funny thing, right? You are a visual novel player, right? So you and everyone who has played a visual novel you all have the mentality of a One Piece enjoyer, of a One Piece reader, of a watcher, right? So, you know, Hello Lady has a lot of highs. I hope so, because that's what we're going to be playing next. I guess not playing, we're going to be streaming next. But yes, this outro has been going on for way too long. And I've even bled in reading off Dexter's messages to the recordings. But I guess if that's what my outro is gonna be for the YouTube, then it may as well be the outro for the stream as well. Or yeah, if this is my outro for the stream, it may as well be the outro for the YouTube as well. But with that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, a follow would be appreciated. And if you're on YouTube, a subscribe would be appreciated. And if you want to support me further, you could always go to my Patreon. Right, you'll be... Maybe you won't see my reactions to the hate scenes of Angelic Chaos anytime soon, but you will get early episodes of the next visual novel I'll be posting, which is Happy Maya, and Amaro Chocolate 2. But with that being said, the next stream, which will be tomorrow, hopefully, we will be playing Hello Lady. We'll be streaming Hello Lady. But when will I start posting recordings of Hello Lady on the main channel? That's I don't know. But with that being said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye bye.